Xiake was one of the greatest travelers that China has ever produced. Yet he was no casual tourist. His surviving diaries contain detailed accounts of his observations of people, geography, and geology. He visited Mount Huangshan twice. So what was it about the mountain that most impressed him? Find out in Xiake and Mount Huangshan, Part 5 of the series, Great Masters of the Past.
Four ancient sets of stone steps and a tourist route lead up to the Beihai scenic area in the central part of Mount Huangshan. The area is surrounded by a number of famous sites: Guangmin Peak, Huangyang Hill, Bai'e Range, Shexin Peak and Xiake Gate. To the south is the Yungu scenic area, to the west the Diaoqiao scenic area, and to the north the Songgu scenic area. The Beihai area, with its peaks, rocks, gullies, pine trees and clouds, is reminiscent of a traditional Chinese painting. The temperature changes dramatically the higher one climbs up Mount Huangshan. It's said that in some parts of the mountain, spring arrives 3 days later than it does somewhere else, just 100 meters away. The Tang Dynasty poet Bai Le Tian wrote, "In the 4th lunar month, the flowers down the mountain have all gone, but the peach trees on the mountain have just begun to blossom." The name Huangshan was given to the mountain by the Tang Emperor Xuanzong in the 8th century. 900 years later, a very special visitor came to the mountain, the famous traveler Xiake. As a philosopher once said, the significance of life is not in its length, but in its breadth. Xiake was born in Jiangyin, Jiangsu province in the year 1586. His parents gave him the name Hongzu. He acquired the name Xiake later in life.
Xiake 年幼的时候不是特别的顽皮，他家境殷实，有一个万卷的藏书楼，所以呢，小的时候有读书的条件。他好静，所以呢，他也能读大量的书。他个人最喜欢的书呢，跟他的性格倒不是一致的。他喜欢的是那些奇异的书。所谓奇异的书呢，山水呀、矿物啊、自然啊这样的一些书籍。所以他后来在这个旅游考察的过程中，那些知识应该说这个时候已经打下了一个基础。
Xiake visited Mount Huangshan in February 1616 and again in September 1618. Mount Huangshan is surrounded by many other mountains. In Xiake's time, it was virtually inaccessible. There were no roads, and the surrounding area was very sparsely populated. Because of its isolation, for 1,000 years, little was known about the mountain. During his second visit to Mount Huangshan in 1618, Xiake took a rest on Shexin Peak beside Shesun Bridge. There, an idea occurred to him. He would make a comparison between Mount Huangshan and China's more famous mountains.
徐霞客在游历的时候呢，可以分成这样几个大的时期。年轻的时候，他游历呢跟我们普通人是完全一样的，就是想看看名山大川，猎奇揽胜。那到了后期就不是这样了，在他的《徐霞客游记》里边，我们就可以看得出来，风俗的这一块不是他的最关键的所在了。他研究了一些地理地况的东西，比方说岩溶。那像这个里边研究的是用的一些术语，就是非常科学的术语，这个就跟我们今天所说的自助游、驴友跟这个就区别就非常大了。
Xiake kept detailed notes on his 2 trips to Mount Huangshan. In his travel notes, he commented, "Mount Huangshan is unrivaled among mountains. When one stands on Mount Huangshan, it is as if all other mountains no longer exist." Xiake's description of the mountain's elegant natural beauty made the mountain famous.
"5月归来不看山，黄山归来不看月。那也就是说，黄山比5月的风景要美很多。这个说法出处就是徐霞客，就是因为他第2次回到黄山的时候，实现了自己的理想，真正的到了黄山的最高峰天柱峰，或者叫天都峰。
Xiake was one of the greatest travelers that China has ever produced. Yet he was no casual tourist. His surviving diaries contain detailed accounts of his observations of people, geography, and geology. He visited Mount Huangshan twice. So what was it about the mountain that most impressed him? Find out in Xiake and Mount Huangshan, Part 5 of the series, Great Masters of the Past.
Xiake described many of Mount Huangshan's numerous peaks. No one before or since has ever written about Mount Huangshan in such detail and in such beautiful language. Xiake writes at length about Tiandu Peak. He describes in lively detail how, as one ascends the mountain, the scenery changes. Seen through the scattered trees, the peaks seem to become intertwined with one another. Tiandu Peak rises above them all. Lianhua, Yunmen, and other peaks contend to reveal their charms. They're like soldiers standing guard over Tiandu Peak. All the other peaks bend towards it. Only one other peak, Lianhua, rivals it. I gazed down at these peaks. Green trails emerged and then disappeared into the mist. The foot of the mountain was bathed in dazzling sunlight and looked like another world. I walked beside the zigzagging stream. Sometimes I had to grasp the grass and vines to clamber over a pile of rocks, and sometimes I had to climb sheer cliffs. I put my feet ahead and my hands on the ground behind, and slid down the sheer slope on my rear. Xiake's description of Tiandu Peak gave birth to an adage: a journey is wasted without climbing Tiandu Peak. Xiake's second trip to Mount Huangshan in the autumn of 1618 had a specific purpose: to meet up with some old friends. In his travel notes from this trip, he mentions many Buddhist monks. It was in fact quite common for scholars to become friendly with monks, and Xiake was familiar with some of the monks on Mount Huangshan. Monk Xiaguang at Shizilin Temple was a close friend. After staying for some time, on October the 23rd, 1618, Xiake bid monk Xiaguang farewell and headed for Baisha Hill several kilometers away. He wanted to examine the archway stone. Xiake had walked some distance when he suddenly realized that monk Xiaguang was behind him. The monk had been worried that Xiake might lose his way on the mountain and had decided to guide him. The monk led Xiake along the ridge of the hill to the archway stone, famous for being split at the bottom but still intact at the top. Back in the Tang dynasty, the Buddhist monk Jia Dao had also visited Mount Huangshan twice. In a poem he wrote, "I looked for the hermit, but failed to meet him. I asked a boy under a pine tree. He said his master had gone deep into the mountain to gather medicinal herbs, but he did not know where." Xiake's detailed accounts of his 2 trips to Mount Huangshan are still considered highly informative and useful today. But what was the source of Xiake's fascination with traveling in general?
那我们提及徐霞客的时候呢，可能有一些可以跟他比照的，比方说郑和下西洋像这个东渡鉴真和尚这里边有一些目的上的差异。你说郑和下西洋那是政府行为，他去征战另外一片或者通西域打开商路是吧？那鉴真和尚东渡呢，他是为了传播宗教。那徐霞客出去的时候，我们说他是为什么？徐霞客去游历的过程没有政府的资助，也不为传播文化和宗教，完全是一个个人的自由自发的行为，而且记录那么多的东西。因此我们在这个里边看到的是一个个人志趣和最终目的的一个完美统一。
The itineraries Xiake drew up for his 2 trips to Mount Huangshan are still useful for people today. Day 1, visit Tiandu Peak and stay on Yuping Peak for the night. Day 2, visit Lianhua Peak, then go to Tianhai Peak, Guangming Peak and Shexin Peak, spend the night on Beihai Peak. Day 3, visit Shizi Peak and Xihai Peak, and then descend the mountain via Songgu or Yuangu Gully. Xiake produced beautiful descriptions of Mount Huangshan's hot springs and strangely shaped pine trees, the sea of clouds at its summit, the delicate rocks, and of course, the magnificent peaks.
Huangshan 的景色是天下第一，不管说它是险还是秀，总之它的景色是其他5岳不可比拟的。在16年的时候，他就想到那个天都峰去，是吧？可是呢，经过他的目测，他发现其实天都峰和莲花峰正好跟传说中的相反，它的高度并不是天都峰最高， 而是莲花峰最高。所以实际上他第一次去就实现了自己的愿望，要到最高处。
Xiake highly recommended Mount Huangshan as a place to visit, and based on his own trips there, he drew up an itinerary for other travellers. Xiake was very fond of hot spring baths. In fact, the first thing he did on his first trip to Mount Huangshan in February 1616 was find a hot spring. In his travel notes on Mount Huangshan, he writes extensively about the hot springs. After that, he talks most about the mountain's pine trees. On that first trip, there was a 3-month covering of snow on the ground. He wrote, "The stone steps were indiscernible beneath the snow, which had frozen and turned to ice. The path was so slippery I couldn't keep my feet." Yet, despite the difficult conditions, Xiake climbed all the way up to Tianmenkan, the heavenly threshold, at a height of 1,600 meters.
他去的时候就是一点一点摸爬上去，先到慈光寺的时候都已经非常的艰难，就是早上出发，一直快到傍晚的时候才到这个地方。那去的时候，寺庙里边的僧人都非常的诧异，说我们这个地方2个多月了，都没有人上来，我们也出不去，你怎么这个时间到了这个地方？In
his travel notes, Xiake doesn't mention the hardships of his 2 trips to Mount Huangshan. Instead, he describes his admiration for the pine trees and other features of the mountain. He writes, "Pine trees in strange shapes grow on sheer cliffs. The highest are less than 10 feet tall and the shortest just a few inches. Their crowns are flat and their roots are twisted and their branches are gnarled. The shorter ones are even older and the smaller ones look even stranger. I hadn't expected to find such marvels on the mountain." Xiake was an educated and well-read man. He observed things around him closely and took detailed notes. In the course of 30 years, he covered some 50,000 kilometers, visiting almost all the famous mountains and rivers in China in 19 provinces. His classic Xiake's travel notes, comprising 600,000 Chinese characters, is a truly monumental achievement in the systematic observation and description of geographic sites. The work includes descriptions of mountains, rivers and scenic spots, and it also offers insights into the folklore and native products of numerous locations. Xiake's travel notes is effectively an encyclopedia of the history, culture and natural scenery of China during the Ming Dynasty.
我们看到的史料是讲，徐霞客在活着的时候，他的这个日记并没有整理，并没有发表，所以今天看到呢，只是说他的后代，包括他的族人，帮助他完成他的这个心愿。所以很多他真正的日记呢，应该是失传或者是流散了。为什么这么来讲呢？说徐霞客的游记啊，按他原来的记法是每到一处，每到一地，不管多累，不管多晚，他一定必做日记。所以这样来看，在他50多年这个游历祖国名山大川的这个过程中，他记下来的笔记应该不止今天我们看到的这几十万字。
Xiake was one of the greatest travelers that China has ever produced. Yet he was no casual tourist. His surviving diaries contain detailed accounts of his observations of people, geography, and geology. He visited Mount Huangshan twice. So what was it about the mountain that most impressed him? Find out in Xiake and Mount Huangshan, Part 5 of the series, Great Masters of the Past.
Prior to 1573, the names of many scenic spots on Mount Huangshan were related to Taoism. They included Danjing, or Well of Pills of Immortality, and Liandantai, or Terrace for Making Pills of Immortality. However, after 1573, the names were changed to give them a Buddhist meaning. Xiake's notes refer to various places with names that have an obvious Buddhist connotation. These include rock where the Buddha sat, head raised towards the sky, Bodhidharma facing the wall in meditation, and Arhat Rock. Xiake wrote only a few words about Mount Huangshan's strangely shaped rocks. However, the 20 or so he mentioned have not changed. They remain in exactly the same places as Xiake described in his travel notes. All that has changed is their names. In the 2 seasons when Xiake visited Mount Huangshan, there shouldn't have been much in the way of drifting clouds and mist covering the peaks. Yet, during the 9 days Xiake stayed on Mount Huangshan in February 1616, it rained and snowed continuously, and the mountain was shrouded in mist. On his second trip, which lasted for 3 days in September 1618, it was dry and there was very little in the way of rain. The autumn winds drove the thin clouds away. Even so, to his delight, he witnessed the peaks shrouded in a thin mist.
徐霞客在游历的过程中，我们说他做了自然科学的考察，跟一般的旅行放松不一样。那我们就要看一下，在徐霞客游记里边，他到底在哪些方面做出了自己的贡献。首先，第一个，我们在这个里边注意到徐霞客有对地理环境的一个记录，这个记录里边特别说及了一个地貌的特征，就是岩溶地貌。这个岩溶地貌呢，也就是我们今天说的这个喀斯特地貌。那这个呢，应该说他是最早记录我们国家岩溶地貌的一个人，也引导了中国在地理学上面的一个新的方向。当然了，关于这一点呢，是在比较晚的时候，学者研究徐霞客游记的时候恍悟的一个学术点。第二个呢，就是在他考察的过程中，就是水文地理这一块，他也是做了很多的工作。所以呢，我们说徐霞客，不管你称他是自然学家、地理学家还是文学家，应该说都是恰当的说法。
The weather on Mount Huangshan is wet in spring, cool in summer, dry in autumn and cold in winter. Xiake was lucky because he happened to catch the rare sight of a sea of clouds in autumn, a time of year when most of the time the air is crisp and clear. The ancient statesman and poet Huangshan wrote, "The most unusual, magnificent and strange sights are often found in the most remote and perilous places. A true man should offer his services wherever they are needed and undertake long journeys in defiance of the risks." Xiake was a pioneer in the fields of exploration and geological studies. He regarded travelling and recording what he saw as his lifelong mission. He said, "There are no boundaries for a traveller. Visiting mountains and rivers is like visiting a close friend, and exploring remote places is like digging for treasure." Xiake would often spend the night in a run-down cottage or beneath the stars. He wrote his notes by firelight. After his death in 1641, these writings were sorted and compiled into Xiake's travel notes.
在历史上有很多人是为我们所知，是因为他们在行走，在迁移。比方说张骞出使西域，比方说还有这个郑和下西洋。那为什么我们不说他跟徐霞客是一样的呢？要注意到这个里边有些差异如果说以外国来比照的话，我倾向于认为马可波罗和徐霞客是一类人。为什么这么去划分？我们要看一下背景，就是郑和他下西洋是有一个什么行为，谁来支持？当然我们知道是政府 支持，他的资金来源，他的最后的工作的归属，他是要完成某一个工作，是不是？可是徐霞客、马可波罗，他的工作不是说朝廷来支持我，大财阀来支持我，是因为我爱，我喜欢，我要做这件事情。
5,000 years ago, the Yellow Emperor defeated his rival Chuyo in battle and unified the area of what is today central China. Later, he passed the throne to his son and went to Mount Huangshan to gather medicinal herbs from which to make pills of immortality. Finally, he cultivated himself to the point where he attained immortality. Xiake, after visiting so many famous mountains and rivers, came to the following conclusion: no other mountain in China can compare with Mount Huangshan. It is the best of all mountains. People in later times coined this saying: compared with the 5 sacred mountains, no other mountain is worth seeing, but compared with Mount Huangshan, the 5 sacred mountains are not worth seeing. This is something that's still widely believed today.
There is a place in western Hunan that was made famous in a popular novel and later a film. It's called Fenghuang. In Frontier Town, the author Shen Congwen presented a romantic depiction of the place where he grew up. He also offered an idealistic vision of human nature. So, how have readers assessed his writing and his philosophy? Find out in Shen Congwen and Fenghuang County, the 6th and final part of Great Masters of the Past.